Nika, which you must have read on the poster, and he also has half an hour. And inshallah, after we have the Mufti Javid. He will explain to us the purpose of family life and any questions relating around that. So bismillah, to start off with, I'd like to pose you a question. If a person makes a statement, it's my car, I can drive it how I want, what do you have to say to that kind of person? Is Rizwan by here? Any driving restrictions was there? Anybody want to answer that question for me? What do you think? Is it correct to make that statement? Come on, I want nobody? Huh? No, what do you have to say to him? He's an idiot. Why? Because you can't do things the way you want. You understand? There's always rules, there's always limits, there's always boundaries to everything. In the same way, a person's building a house, unless you're in India or some other country, you can build it how you want. But in this country, everything has rules and regulations. So if you were to build a house higher than the law, then they would tell you to break it. If you were to make an extension longer than you have permission, they will tell you to break it, regardless of how much it costs you. So from this we understand that everything has limits, everything has boundaries. Now, just a quick, I know this is not exactly the topic we're talking about, but just to get you into the topic, we have to do this pre-topic discussion. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with many favors in life. Yeah? Some things we count as favors, some things we understand as favors, some things we don't, unfortunately, because we have been given so much, we don't realize that this is a favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from all the favors He's given us, if you use them in the correct way, if you benefit from the correct way, then inshallah this is fine. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. But if you misuse them, if you use them in the incorrect way, then this will lead to the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this will lead to a person being punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, a person has been given eyes. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. That verily in the creation of the heavens and the earth and the changing of the day and night, there is signs for those people who have intellect. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that look at my creation, you realize my greatness. Yes? So this is something which is a form of ibadah. A person who looks at his parents with the gaze of love, what is the reward? Who's going to tell him? He gets the reward of that? Accept him. So I want to hear more from you. Yes? I don't want to be doing all the talking. A person looks at the Kaaba, how much reward does he get? 120 verses descending on Baytullah, 60 for the people doing tawaf, 40 for the people just sitting there, and 20 for the people looking at the Kaaba. Now, one of the mercies and one of the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given every single one of us the instinct of love. That a person, he has that feeling inside his heart. A person has that soft spot. A person has that, he feels sorry for somebody, or he has an inclination towards somebody, or he reveres a person. So there's many different types of this, but this is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the many bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with is the instinct of love. Once Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a Bedouin came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is connected because it's to do with mercy. And Rasulullah gave a child a hug. Rasulullah kissed the child. So this person said that, oh Rasulullah, I have 10 children, I have never kissed them. So Rasulullah said that, what can I do if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken mercy and love and affection out of your heart? So this is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we have this feeling towards other people. Now, the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَتِلْكَ حُدُودُ اللَّهِ. And those are the set limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Set boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ يَتَعَدَّ حُدُودَ اللَّهِ فَقَدْ ظَلَمَ نَفْسَهُ. And whosoever transgresses, he exceeds the limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then indeed he has wronged himself. He has oppressed himself. Going back to the first slide. Do you know why I asked you the question? Yes, what was the question? You can tell me with the maroon jumper? What's your name? Yeah, what's your name?
Salman.
Salman, do you remember what the question was?
Yeah, if somebody says, it's my car, I can drive it.
Yeah, you can drive. Why is that incorrect?
Because there's boundaries and limits.
Because if you use the car in the correct way, then it is beneficial, isn't it? It gets you from A to B. Or if you use the car in the wrong way, what's going to happen?
An accident.
You're going to have an accident, yeah? You're going to have an accident. Not only will you put yourself in danger, you're going to put many other people in danger, and this is obviously not the correct way. So in the same way, every single thing, whether it is in our understanding or it's not in our understanding, there is a limit to everything. There's a right way of using everything, and there's an incorrect way of using everything. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned that to us in the Quran. That وَتِلْكَ حُدُودُ اللَّهِ, these are the limits, bounds of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you cross these limits, then you're going to get yourself in trouble. If you use the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala staying within the limits, then alhamdulillah, that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given it to us. Now, moving on to our topic. Our topic today is love, marriage, and family life. Now, every single person has this instinct of love inside them, that we have love for our parents, we have love for wealth, we have love for our wife, children, family, we have love, some people like their clothes. So all of these different types of love. So love is not a bad thing. Love, if used in the correct way, this is not a bad thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made mention of this in the Quran. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. And those who believe love Allah the most. What does that mean? That loving is a good quality. But it depends in which direction you direct your love towards. So if a person, if he has love for Allah and His Rasul, if he has love for Deen, if he has love for Akhirah, then this is a good thing. But if he has love for the wrong things, then obviously this is a bad thing. Different types of love. Love for Allah and His Rasul, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is obviously something that is embedded inside every single believer's heart. No, this is not something that we need to ask. This is something that, alhamdulillah, this is part of our deen. That to have love for Allah and Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, this is the foundation of our deen. People have love for wealth. And it's important to have love for wealth. Why? It's important to have love for wealth. I'm not going to encourage you to go and earn wealth, but it's important. If a person doesn't have love for wealth, if somebody is stealing his money, if he doesn't have love for it, then he's going to let him take all his money. So to have a certain amount of love for a person's wealth, for a person's belongings, for a person's family, this is necessary. To have love for a person's wife and children and family relatives, to have love for food, yeah, for clothes, these are the different types of love. But love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should overwhelm love for everything else. Love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should overwhelm love for everything else. Why? Because if his love for wealth increases, then the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then when the command of zakat comes, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Who's going to tell me? If he has more love, if he has 100% love for his wealth and he only has 90% love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what's going to happen? Come on. Anybody? Nobody? Come on. I'll give you a sweetie before you have them. Yeah, come on.
He will be selfish, not to him.
He'll be selfish. He'll find it a burden to carry out this command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, because the love for the world has overpowered his love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whenever the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes, then it will be hard for this person to carry out the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in the same way, if a person's love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is overwhelming, overpowering his love for everything else, then when the crunch time comes, when it clashes with the love of anything else, then he will always give priority to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, to sum it up, there's two types of love. One is love of respect and honor. Now, can somebody give me some examples? Please, I want to see some hands up now. Otherwise, I'm going to sit down now. Come on, give me some. Muhtar, you're going to give me some examples of love of respect and honor. Who do you have love for because of respect? Parents, mashallah, very good. And who else?
Teachers. Ulama.
Ulama, teachers. Who else? Parents, somebody who's done you a favor. Yeah? So you will have this love for them because the amount of favor, the amount our parents have done the most for us, so we will have the most love for them. Love for Allah and Rasul, love for the Sahaba, love for ulama. All of this comes under love of respect and honor. And the second category we have is love of passion and desire. Yeah? So this is natural. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created inside every single one of us. Rasulullah has mentioned, you know, that this was the practice of all the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam. You know, I don't want to go into more Habibullah's topics, but inshallah he'll cover this, that carrying out the sunnah of Nika, marrying, this is the practice of all the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, and this is the difference between human beings and the angels. Who can tell me the difference between human beings and angels? Zubair, you going to tell me the difference? What? Zubair, don't turn on. Huh?
Angels are 100% going to follow all the commandments.
Angels don't have the capacity, they don't have the desire to go towards evil. If they don't want to, even if they want to, they can't. It's not inside them. Yeah? And human beings, they have the desire and they have the choice of going towards God. So this is the difference. Yes? Now, love of passion and desire. Like I mentioned, وَتِلْكَ حُدُودُ اللَّهِ. These are the limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasn't said that I'm going to put this desire inside you and I'm going to do oppression upon you. You cannot fulfill this desire of yours. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, yes, I've put this inside you. I've given you a halal way. I've given you a pure way of fulfilling this desire of yours. Yeah? So there's a permissible way of fulfilling a person's desire. A person, he has a show of driving a car. Yeah, so he can go on the motorway, do 70, 80 miles, and it's fine. Yeah, no one's going to say, oh, you can't drive a car. Yeah, but if he crosses the limits, yeah, and he drives 80 miles on a 30 road, then he's crossing the boundaries. Yeah, in the same way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's given us this quality of love, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us that this is the pure way, this is the halal way, this is the permissible way, and this is the wrong way. Yeah, so there's permissible way and there's haram way. Now, this question, okay? I want all of you to look at this. A person will have this thought, yeah, especially the youngsters in the middle, yeah? I don't want you to be shy, yeah? This is obviously reality. A person might think to himself, I've fallen in love with a girl, yeah? So a person thinks, a person is going to college, a person is going to university. A person will think this is a natural instinct inside a person, I want to marry her, yeah? This happened in time of Sahaba as well, that a person, he saw another woman and then he sent a proposal. This was something which is known, but in our culture we made it something very hard. Yes, that's why we've got this program today. So if you want to ask any questions, put your hand up, and inshallah I'll be more than willing to answer your questions. Yeah? So has everybody read that question? Brother Salman, can you read that out for me, please? Nice and loudly, so make sure you've heard it. You've read it, sorry. Go on.
I've fallen in love with her. I wish I could marry her.
Okay, yes, just think about that question, yeah? So, no problem. Yeah? This is with everybody. Yeah, another question. Same, yeah? You've seen a girl, you like her, you have feelings for her, what do? Yeah? So this is like another stage, yeah? You think to yourself, okay, I'm at an age where, you know, shaitan is putting all types of thoughts in my mind, and I'm thinking that, okay, I have this. When a person is in his youth, then this is the prime time where a person has to protect himself. And shaitan puts his most effort on the individual. So a person has this scenario in front of him. Yeah? What does it do now? What is it going to do? Before I go to the next slide, what is it going to do? Come on, I want some hands up now, please. Even the elders say what?
Talk to his parents.
Talk to his parents. MashaAllah, very good. Well done. Anything else? Tell her bye. Anything?
Talk to a scholar, I can open up with.
Talk to the ulama, MashaAllah.
Or if he's based with the sheikh, then with the sheikh.
Basically, speak to somebody who can guide him. Yeah, MashaAllah, this is what we want. He should speak to somebody who can direct him in the correct way. And anything else? Any other ideas that somebody might have? Bilal? No?
Maybe stick to Munir Gucci.
Maybe stick to Munir Gucci. Yeah? Munir Gucci, mashallah, is doing a very good job. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts his efforts, mashallah.
What's up? Before we move on,
Yeah, go on.
is it wrong to have those thoughts?
Okay, mashallah, very good. Yeah, so this is what I want. I want people, Mola is saying, Mola Khalid, that is it wrong to have these thoughts? Muhammad Umar, what do you think? No? Very good. Nothing wrong to have these thoughts. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, once the Sahaba, they mentioned to Rasulullah that, oh Rasulullah, we get such thoughts, this is very minor compared to what they said. They said, we get such thoughts in our minds that we even feel ashamed of mentioning it to you. That's, imagine the Sahaba, the best of the Ummah, they're telling Rasulullah, the best of the prophets, that, oh Rasulullah, we get such thoughts in our minds that we even feel ashamed of telling you. So Rasulullah said to them, do you really get these thoughts? They said, yeah. So this is, he said, this is Sarif al-Iman. This is a clear sign of Iman. This is a clear sign of your Iman. That when a person has Iman, when a person has faith, then Shaitan wants to attack you. You understand? So these thoughts will come, nothing wrong with it. But the important thing is, how do we deal with these thoughts? How do we deal with these thoughts? Okay, moving on. Yeah? Before I tell you the answer, I'm going to mention a few things. Love before marriage. Yeah? So a person has had these thoughts. Now Shaitan will make him take certain steps. Yeah? A person has feelings for the opposite gender. A person has fallen in love with somebody. Then Shaitan will make him do certain things which a person will keep this connection. Yeah? But what does Islam say? Islam clearly forbids all kinds of relationships outside marriage. Yeah? Moving on. This includes talking, meeting, touching. Okay? So a person might think, oh, I'm not doing anything. We're just communicating through text. We're just communicating through email. We're just communicating through Facebook. But what does Islam say? All of this type of connection, especially if it falls under love of passion and desire, and especially if it's with the opposite gender, then honestly this is against the teachings of Islam. This is absolutely haram and forbidden. Yes? So let's quickly recap. Those thoughts are totally fine. A person will get those thoughts. But now to take these thoughts in the wrong direction, this is where a person is going beyond the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person has to think to himself, okay, everybody here will think that committing adultery, fornication is a very big sin. Yeah, everybody will think, oh, we can never do this. If Shaitan, a person who has Iman, a person who comes for Salah, a person who has been in Sajda, Shaitan will never put this thought inside his mind that, oh, go and commit this sin. Yeah, Shaitan is not going to. But Shaitan will say to us, okay, maybe you can just text her, maybe you're just communicating through WhatsApp, through email, through Facebook. So Sharia has given us a guideline that everything that leads to haram is also haram. Everything that leads a person to haram is also haram. Yes? Let me give you a quick example. Yeah? If you have a cigarette, yeah? If you have a cigarette, yeah? Are you going to put it on your sofa? Or are you going to put it on the carpet? Anybody going to do that? Anybody going to be that foolish to put the cigarette? It's not even a flame, it's just a little bit of spark. Is anybody going to put this on the carpet or the sofa? No, he's not. Because he knows that this little spark, this little flame that I can see, not even flame, this little spark or heat I can see, this will cause a big fire. So in the same way, our Sharia has looked at the nature of human beings. Our Sharia has looked at how the human being works. Yes, I'm actually running out of time already. Yeah? So they have limited us to make sure that we don't go towards haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشًا وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا. That do not even go close towards fornication. Yeah? It is indeed a shameful act and an evil way to follow. Okay, quickly, I want some hands up now. How will a shaitan take a person close to fornication? Come on, quickly. The longer you take, the longer you have to stay here. Yeah? So the quicker you put your hands up, anybody?
He begins to justify.
Justify what?
When he speaks about physics.
Yeah, so shaitan says it's okay to talk. Yeah? What else is shaitan going to say? Yeah? Anybody?
There's no harm in talking.
There's nothing wrong with talking. I'm just talking with his friends. Yeah? Happens for him? Or shaitan will say, I'm not even talking, I'm just communicating through text. Yeah? So shaitan will put every single excuse in our mind to justify what we are doing. Yeah? But don't forget that this little spark will lead us to that big fire. Yeah? That's why Sharia has told us that put that little spark out so it does not even take you towards the big fire. Now, which option will I choose? Is the important. Those two questions came ahead. Yeah? These two questions. Now, which option are you going to choose? Yeah, you have some options here. First option. Yeah, this is the thought that shaitan will put in your mind. Yeah, Hafiz Fahim, you're going to read this out for us?
Get to know him for a few months. If we get along, we'll decide to marry.
Okay. What do you think? Does that sound okay? Yeah? Why does it not sound okay?
It's a risky, slippery path.
Just something else what we just discussed. Why is it not okay, Faizan? Why?
There's no supervision.
It's outside the boundaries. Any relationship outside marriage is outside the boundaries. Yeah? So this you are following, you are treading on a very slippery route, you are treading on the wrong path. Yeah?
Chef, before we move on, I heard the word supervision. So if it is with supervision, is that allowed?
Okay. Well, who's got the question? Go on.
Sorry, I forgot to clarify supervision of the parents and keep it minimum.
Even that is not allowed. Why? Why? Come on, we've covered it. Why is it not allowed? No, why is it not allowed? We've covered it.
The boundaries.
It's outside the boundary of Nika. Yeah, don't worry, I'm going to come to the solution as well. There's a solution to this. Yeah? There's always a solution. Yeah? But it's not allowed. Even the parents say, oh, we don't even keep an eye on him. The parents, the girls say, we'll keep an eye on her. This is still not allowed because it is outside the boundaries set by who? Set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? So we cannot set our own boundaries. We have to follow the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I've only got 8 minutes left. Yeah, I'm not even halfway there. Ask my parents if they allow me to marry them. What do you think? Is that okay? Yeah, that's okay. I'm going to come back to that later on. A question for the parents. Yes? So I want the parents to put their hands up. Yeah? And number 3, I'm not ready to get married now. We will get engaged and marry after a year or 2. What do you think? How does that sound? Huh? Again, that is not right because it's outside the boundary of marriage. Yeah? Yes?
Is engagement allowed in Islam?
Okay, but it's good you asked that question. I really don't have time, but because you asked, I'm going to explain it quickly in 2 minutes. Engagement is literally just a promise, what we say. That we've given our word, and really that word doesn't have to happen in the form of we hire a hall, we call 200-300 people, and we just confirm that yes, our son is going to marry your daughter is going to marry our son. This can happen just by very few people going to the girl's house and just confirming that yes, they are happy on both sides, and we have promised that this marriage will go on. Yeah? This is what we call engagement in our terms. But what we've made engagement is that we made it like a big occasion, everybody comes together, they eat everything, and in that so much disobedience of Allah that happens. But one thing we have to understand, just because you're engaged, that doesn't mean you're married. You're still a stranger for each other. Yeah? So let me just give you a scenario. Yeah? A boy and a girl get engaged. Yeah? And Allah forbid, after 1 week the boy passes away. Is he going to be classed as the husband of this girl? Is she going to inherit from this guy? No. So then why is it that when it comes to other matters, we say, oh yeah, they're fixed, they're engaged, what's wrong with it? This is where we need to understand the bounds again. وَتِلْكَ حُدُودُ اللَّهِ. These are the set bounds by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So yes, you can have you can fulfill give your promises, that give your word, you can have an engagement as long as it's within the Sharia bounds. But having an engagement doesn't mean that you allow they can have contact with each other. Yes?
What if you're too young to get married?
What if you're too young to get married? I'll come to that inshallah. Now what's the solution? What's the solution? Anybody? Huh? Nikah. Very good. The solution is nikah. That is what our religion has taught us. Rasulullah has said that lam nara, or in another narration, lam tara, you will not see. There is nothing for two people who love each other like marriage. So there is no better relation for two people who love each other than marriage. This is what Rasulullah has told us. That this is the best way forward for both of them. Now what is this hadith trying to tell us? Yeah, I'll quickly sum it up in a few words. Yeah? True love, increasing love, and lasting love. Yeah? Today we see that, especially when we see all these so-called arranged marriage, or when we see people find their own partner, or they met at college, university. There's nothing wrong with meeting up at college, university. Sometimes you might find your partner at a workplace. Yeah? The first meeting, as long as you don't take anything beyond that, there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah? But sometimes when they make the marriage like this, yeah, it's not true love, it's not increasing love, and it's not lasting love. Yeah? This only happens in nikah. Yeah? Because Rasulullah has said the barakah, the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala descends in a nikah. Yeah? So this is the only solution. Yeah? This is the only solution. Now we might have some problems like persons too young, the parents don't agree, all this we're going to come to later on. I've only got 4 minutes left now, yeah? Now I want to put a question towards the parents. What would you do if your son or daughter came home and said, I found someone I want to marry? What are you going to do as a parent? That your son or child, 20 years old, they've come home and said that I want to get married to this person. What are you going to do? Huh? Bismillah. Huh? MashaAllah, very good question. First thing you'll ask, their son or daughter, who is this person? Yeah? That's one thing that you might do. Thomas Philip? You can give the permission. If the whole happy.
Why do you want to marry?
Why do you want to marry them? Yeah? Huh? Family background? Yeah, mashallah. All very positive answers.
The girl, is she Dinda?
Huh?
The girl, is she Dinda?
The girl, is she Dinda? Is she religious? Mashallah, very good. Yeah, all of these answers, mashallah, very good. I'm going to sum it up in one slide, inshallah. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Now let's talk reality. Yeah. Okay, mashallah, very good, very positive answers. Now let's talk reality. These are some of the common answers that parents give. Yeah. And I forgot to add one on. Yeah, which is a very hard one. Yeah, but I'll add one. Okay. One thing parents might say, you're studying now after your studies. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. What do you think? Parents might say, you're studying now after your studies. What do you think? No. Is that a good enough answer?
No.
No. Yeah? You're still young, once you're old enough. Yeah? Now this is a very important question. What do you class as old enough, and what do you class as young? What do you class as old, what do you class as young? Quickly, I'm running out of time. I've got 30 minutes left. It's about maturity. What else?
Once a child has reached over the age of puberty, that's it.
Once a child has reached the age of puberty. Yes? Is that right? What do you think? Munir? What age would you think? Whenever they're ready. MashaAllah. Okay. Now, let me just quickly sum this up. Yeah, not much time. One Sahabi by the name of Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu. Yeah, very big Sahabi. If I can recall correct, I didn't get a chance to check the actual dates, but according to one narration, what age do you think he got married? Salman, what age do you think he got married? Very young age. What age do you think he got married? Go on.
14.
14. According to one narration, he got married at the age of 13. Yeah? According to another narration, he got married at the age of 11. Yeah? Now, a person might think, 13 years old, that is so young. Yeah? But from a very young age, this is where all the responsibility of the father, the mother come when they're growing up, giving them responsibility, making them feel responsible. This is all part of this. Yeah, inshallah, this will be covered by the next two speakers, inshallah. So a person, there is no set rule, or he's not even 25 yet, or he's only 23, and yeah, so once a person feels that he is ready, he's mature enough, he can take on a bit of responsibility. Some people, if you don't give them responsibility, they will never take on responsibility. Some people, if you put responsibility on them, then they will learn to take responsibility. So it's up to the parent to really understand that what's in the best interest of my son or daughter. Yeah? Now another point that parents put across. You're not settled yet. Once you've got a secure job, then what do you think? This is absolutely a very foolish answer. Yeah? I don't have time to go into detail. Yeah, but Nika is a means of barakah in a person's systems. Yeah, means of blessing. Number one, you need to get a house of your own. Then you can get married. What do you think? That's not good answer. Yeah? If you don't have a house of your own, you have alternatives, you can stay in a rented property. There's always a solution. Yes? So that's not a good enough answer. Now the girl's family might ask, what is the girl's family going to ask? Does the boy have a degree? What's his salary? Where does he work? Yeah? Now keep all these questions in mind. Because this is what we think, this is what the questions we ask. Sharia has told us what to think and what to ask. Yeah? So they will ask, does the boy have a house of his own? Does the boy have a house of his own? Now let's just ask ourselves a question. That every time Rasulullah decided to give one of his daughters in marriage to somebody, or the Sahaba decided to get their daughter married off, is that what they thought? That my son-in-law to be? What is his profession? Does he have a house of his own? Is that what they thought, or did they look at something else? Yeah? So what does Islam say about this? Rasulullah has told us, إِذَا خَطَبَ إِلَيْكُمْ مَنْ تَرْضَوْنَ دِينَهُ وَخُلُقَهُ فَزَوِّجُوهُ. This is a command from Rasulullah, that whenever somebody whose religion and character you are pleased with, somebody whose religion, yeah, and character you are pleased with, proposes, yeah, to somebody under your care, yeah, so a boy is proposed to your daughter, yeah, of one of you, then married to him, then this is Rasulullah giving us a command, then get them married. If you don't, then what is the consequences? This is the most dangerous thing. This is where we are going wrong. إِلَّا تَفْعَلُوهُ تَكُنْ فِتْنَةٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَفَسَادٌ عَرِيضٌ. If you don't do this, if you get a proposal from a boy who's deendar, who's got good character, yeah, he doesn't have to be, a big buzruk. He doesn't have to be Imam Ghazali. He doesn't have to be performed tahajjud all night. He has to be deendar. He's got an understanding of deen. He's got good character. Yeah, the basic. If you propose this, there is no reason for you to reject. Yes? If you do not do so, then there will be turmoil. There will be fitna in the land. And there will be discord, there will be fasad. Yeah? Why? Because the solution, the correct way in which Sharia has told us to fulfill your desires of love and passion, yeah, to fulfill your love of desire and passion, if we're not going to let them do it in the halal way, then what are they going to do? Huh? They're going to find other avenues, they're going to find other ways. Yes? Now we're going over time, so I'm going to quickly finish finish off, inshallah. If anybody has any questions, just put your hands up. Any question? Yes?
What does parent do if the character of the religion is not right?
Okay.
How do you deal with that situation?
Good
Sheikh,
question.
I'm just conscious. I know Mufti Javid, I don't want him to cut his time. So I think many of the questions will be answered.
One of the questions, inshallah, will be answered by the next two speakers, yeah? So inshallah, we'll leave all the questions till end for Mufti Javid. Okay? Now just a quick question, yeah? Just think about this, yeah? If Nika and Walima cost us £5,000 and Zina cost us cinema ticket and a popcorn, what have we done to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Yeah? It might sound funny, but this is a very serious, very sad, very true question. Yeah? What have we done to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Nikah that Rasulullah made so easy for us. Yeah? Nikah doesn't have to have any cost. We can make it as simple as we want. But just all the family culture, all the pressure, this is what makes it hard for people. Yeah? So can you spot the mistake? Yeah? There's a big mistake in here. We've made Nikah and Walima hard for ourselves, more hard than how easy it is. Deen has made it very simple for us. One Walima of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yeah, they were coming back from a journey, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did Walima. I think it was with Safiya radiallahu anha the Kaaba. Rasulullah said, whatever you have in your pack lunches, put the istikhara, put this is my Walima. So simple. Yes? So there's no that I must have this much, I must have this whole, I must have this car, I must go on such an expensive holiday. It's very easy. Yeah? Now don't despair. Sometimes a person thinks, oh, I've done so many mistakes. Yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can forgive. He'll clean your sheet. Yes, clean and you can start again. Yeah? Now some remedies to help us refrain from sin. A person might think, oh, how do I control my gaze? How do I control my desires? If a person cannot get mind straight away, yeah, there's some remedies. First of all, lower your gaze. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us in the Quran, كُلِّ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. Tell the believers to lower their gaze. Yeah? When a person lowers his gaze for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will give him the sweetness of Iman. When he performs salah, when he goes into sajda, he will feel the enjoyment of the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be punctual with your salah. One option is get married. Yes? But obviously if that option is not available straight away, I know I'm really over time, I'm just going to quickly mention this. Sometimes a person might not be in a situation, yeah, financially or with the living arrangements, yeah. One thing the parents, if it's the right match, yeah, one thing the parents should do is get the nikah done straight away. Yeah? Obviously it's not something which I advise that do nikah and then do the group city later on. Yeah, after sitting up later on, you know. But this is the last resort. Yeah? If the match is right, get the nikah done straight away, even if it's the next day. Yeah? Even if it's the next day, even if you don't give people notice, yeah? It doesn't matter how bad people feel, how bad your relatives feel if they can't make it, but we have to make sure we don't make who unhappy? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, if you do this for the sake of Allah, I promise you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you barakah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you blessing. Yeah? Recitation of the Quran, dhikrullah. Basically, in general, try to connect yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, try to connect yourself to ibadah, fasting, stay away from what leads to haram. Yes, so if you know that this company is going to make you do haram, this environment is going to make you do haram, then you stay away from that. Guard your modesty and stay in good company. And I think that's more or less finished. Just a few du'as. The Rasulullah quoted, Ya muqallib al-qulub thabbit qalbi ala dinik. O controller of the hearts, make my heart steadfast on your religion, on your deen. Yeah? Another dua for the parents. رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. Another dua, Rasulullah said, Allahumma ighfir li dhanbi wa tahhir qalbi wa hassin farji. Oh Allah, forgive my sins, purify my heart, and guard my chastity. I hope I've tried to cover my topic. Inshallah, I'll pass it over to Moulana Habibullah. Due to lack of time, any questions will be answered by Mufti Javid.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. Respected elders and brothers, I think the levels of excitement in this room are quite high. I think we might need a few more of these windows opening as well. And I think for a message for the committee members, I think a lot of these brothers, they'll be coming to you to book their nikahs now. And some more work for Moulana Muhsin as well. Anyway, the title of my part of the presentation is The Benefits of Nikah. Now, although this title might give the impression that I'm going to stand here and I'm going to list all the different benefits of nikah, that's not quite how it's going to work. Okay? Although the title is The Benefits of Nikah, within this same concept and subject, if you want to call it that, we'll also look at the importance of nikah and also the purpose of nikah. Okay, so we're looking at benefits of nikah, we're looking at the purpose of nikah, and we're also looking at the importance of nikah. And when I say importance of nikah, I mean importance of nikah not just from an individual perspective, but also from the perspective of society. Okay? So without further ado, we'll carry on. Like Moulana Muhsin said, we are, sorry, it's the wrong way around. No, this way. Is that all right? What are the technical brothers? I think just leave it at that. If the partner doesn't work. Right, okay, so the first benefit of nikah and marriage is that it's a great sunnah. Okay? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he mentions in a hadith of Muslim, Ashrun min al-fitrah, that there are 10 things that are from al-fitrah. And then, in the same hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he lists these 10 things. And from these 10 things, one of the things he mentions is an-nikah, marriage. Now the question, which no doubt will be in your mind, is what is the meaning of al-fitrah? The Prophet ﷺ is saying that there are 10 things from al-fitrah, and one of these 10 things is marriage and nikah. What is the meaning of al-fitrah? Now, the term al-fitrah in Arabic, it comes for various different meanings according to the context in which it is used. But in the context of nikah here, the scholars explain that fitrah refers to sunanul mursaleen. That basically, nikah and marriage is something that was done and practiced by each and every single prophet that came onto the surface of this earth. How many prophets, approximately? Nobody knows the exact number, but how many prophets? Yeah, that's the, one of the basic things that we learn in madrasa, when we attended madrasa when we were children, that approximately 124,000 prophets came into this world. Okay? So the Prophet ﷺ, in essence here, what he's saying is that there are 10 things that was practiced by each and every prophet, and one of those was marriage and nikah. That shows that nikah and marriage is very, very important. Okay? Has anybody got an objection to this? 10 things each and every prophet did, And one of these things was nikah. Any objection? Any question? Okay, no question. The question is that there are two prophets that never got married. Isa alayhi salatu was salam, he never got married. But the simple answer for that is that Isa alayhi salam, when he comes back to the world before Qiyamah, he will marry. So that answers the question. But there was another prophet, Yahya alayhi salam, he's also a prophet who never got married. And the reason why Yahya alayhi salam never got married, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about this in the Quran as well. And the term used to describe Yahya alayhi salam is hasur. Basically, Yahya alayhi salam was an individual who had no inclination whatsoever towards any desires. No inclination. And his whole focus and his focus, his life was completely devoted to the akhirah. So that's why Yahya alayhi salam, he never married. But I think 1 out of 124,000 Anbiya alayhi salatu wassalam, it's it's negligible, you can't even really consider it. Generally, nikah was a great sunnah of all the Anbiya alayhi salatu wassalam. So that's the Prophet. What about the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam himself? This hadith, an-nikahu min sunnati, I'm sure you have all heard this. But have you heard it? Yes. Every Imam, hopefully, should know this hadith. It's the easiest hadith to read in the khutbah of nikah. And he will say, an-nikahu min sunnati. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, marriage is from my practice, from my sunnah, from my way. How many times did the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam marry in his lifetime? 11 times. But at any one time, he had 9 wives in his nikah. Okay, so he married a total of 11 times, but at any one time, he had 9 wives in his nikah. Now, it's a question here, everybody's only allowed to marry 4. Why is the Prophet ﷺ allowed to marry more? But that's a topic for another day. We really don't have time to go into that. Oops, okay, so that was the first benefit of nikah. It's a great sunnah, importance of nikah. What about another benefit of nikah? The other benefit of nikah is that it is a means of a person fulfilling his sexual needs. And in the same way, it's a means for a woman to fulfill her sexual needs. Okay? Now, there's 2 ways you can go about this. One is you either go about it the wrong way, like Moulana Muhsin alluded to, which is the haram way. And what's that way? Zina, adultery. Okay? And the other way is you go about it in the halal way. Now, in terms of zina and adultery, the Prophet ﷺ very quickly in a hadith, he mentions that a person, when he is committing adultery, that precise moment when he is committing adultery, that person's iman is so weak that that person is very, very close to kufr. La yazni zani hina yazni wa huwa mu'min. So this is the threat and the warning the Prophet ﷺ has told us about and communicated through the hadith regarding fulfillment of sexual needs through haram means. And the halal means is straightforward. What's the halal means? Nikah and marriage. Okay? The first benefit of fulfilling a person's sexual needs through halal means is that he is going to save himself from what? He's going to save himself from haram. He's going to save himself from sin. Okay, that's the first benefit. The other benefit, on one occasion the Sahaba, they came to the Prophet ﷺ and they said that, "O Prophet of Allah, each and every one of us fulfills our sexual need with our partner, with our wife. Okay? Is there reward for us for doing this?" Yeah? So it was a question that we fulfill our desire, our sexual desire and our sexual needs, but is there a reward for us for doing this? So the Prophet ﷺ, he replied that, look, think, if somebody fulfilled his sexual need and desire through haram means, which is adultery, would there be sin for that person? Go on.
Yes.
Yes. So the Prophet ﷺ said that similarly, if a person is now going to channel that in the halal way and fulfill his sexual desire or need through halal means, then that person will be worthy of reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? So that's a very good hadith for all the men here to remember that, you know, it's not just that through fulfilling your needs you're staying away from haram. Allah is actually giving you reward for doing this. Is that okay? Yeah? So that's a benefit of nikah, fulfillment of sexual needs. This is another benefit, an increase in the ummah. Okay, there's not many benefits. There's this one and then there's a further one after this, which is the main part. But this is very quickly, one of the purposes of nikah is that it is a means of increasing in the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the hadith is on the board. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, marry women who are loving and fertile, for I will be able to outnumber other nations through you. Okay? So the Prophet ﷺ is saying that marry women who are loving and who are fertile. Okay? Fertile means what? Give children. Now the question naturally arises here that a person, when he is going to marry somebody or there's a prospective lady who he's going to hopefully tie the knot with, how does he know whether that woman is fertile or not? It's a natural question. Okay? So there's different explanations that have been given here, but the most simple explanation that has been given here is that a person can take a guess at this if he looks at the family of the girl. So he looks at if the girl has sisters, what's the situation there? If the girl has aunties, what's the situation there? But ultimately, after doing all this as well, children or no children is in the hands of Allah. Okay? يَهَبُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ إِنَاثًا وَيَهَبُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ الذُّكُورَ أَوْ يُزَوِّجُهُمْ ذُكْرَانًا وَإِنَاثًا وَيَجْعَلُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ عَقِيمًا. But nonetheless, this has been enumerated as a benefit and purpose of nikah by the scholars, that it is a means of increase in the ummah. Okay, next one, which is our main one for today. One of the most important purposes of nikah is that it allows for the creation of a strong family unit. Okay, it allows for the creation of a strong family unit. First question, what's a family unit? Sorry? Mom, dad and children. Very good, okay? That's the most basic level. Yeah? That's immediate family unit. Mom, dad, children. Yeah? And is that it? Or is there more to family unit? Okay, so who would come under extended family? Grandparents would come under that. Anybody else? Uncles, yeah, the husbands, brothers, sisters, wives, brothers, sisters, all that would come under that. So this is all a family unit. Yeah? The next question, hopefully it's going to come here. Oh, yeah, please. Right. A strong family unit, first question here, what are the factors that help create a strong family unit? Throw some things at me. What helps create a strong family unit? So forget all the extended family for now. Okay, parents, everything else. We're looking at mom, dad, and children. Yeah? What factors will help make that family unit strong? Love? Who said that? Sorry. Okay, love between all of them. Anything else?
Spending time.
Sorry?
Spending time with each other.
Spending time with each other. Anything else? Piety, that definitely comes in.
Recognition of authority.
Recognition of authority, I like that one. Good, yeah? Recognition of authority. Coming to this question here, what is the most important factor that helps create a strong family unit? What's the most, so we've had a lot of answers, varying answers here. Okay? But what's that one factor which helps create a strong family unit? In other words, who is it in that family structure, yeah, who is going to either make it strong or going to make it weak? Women? Anybody else?
The father.
Father.
But each person has to know their role.
Everybody contributes, but who's going to make the most important contribution here to create that strong family unit? Sorry? Okay, so we've had differing answers, but I think the general answer seems to be either mum or dad. Yeah? I think let's reconcile, put them both together. Yeah? Mum and dad, they are the most important factor. Okay? Because it is ultimately the parents, that will have an influence on the children. The hadith, كل مولود يولد على الفطرة. The hadith, the Prophet ﷺ talks about this, that every child is born upon nature, and then it is the parents that have the influence on that child as to how that child is going to turn out. Okay? So in creating a strong family unit, a lot of factors play their part. But the most crucial role, without a shadow of a doubt, is played by the parents. Okay? Okay, let's move now. So I think up until this point, we've looked at some benefits, etc., of nikah and marriage. Can somebody throw one at me? Just to check that you were all, listening. Come on. It's a great sunnah. Anything else? If you said one, you can't say another one, okay? We want everybody to contribute.
Halal way for your sexual desire.
It's a halal way of fulfilling the sexual needs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in every single individual. Anything else? Increasing the ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the last one that we've just done is the creation of a strong family unit. Now, let's move on. This is the last part, this is my last slide, okay? And this is where all of you come in. This is going to be a group discussion. Now, do you know when we were planning this, me, myself, Moulana Muhsin and Mufti Javid, we thought, we'll have about 40 people, yeah? But I think, as you can see, there's probably much more than 40, yeah? I can only say that you're all Hawadiyah because you looked at the title of the poster and you all decided to come, okay? But nonetheless, we'll persevere. What I have done, before I get into that, I just explain it here. This is what we want to discuss. Okay, this is what we want to discuss. Number one, what are the benefits of a strong family unit? So we've discussed what a family unit is, mom, dad, etc. We've discussed factors that help create a strong family unit. But now I want you to think that if you have a strong family unit, how is that going to benefit the family, the Muslims, society? So you need to get your thinking caps on. Okay, I'll be taking feedback from every group, okay? So you need to think carefully. The second question is, and it's kind of like very linked to the first one, what are the harms of a weak family unit? So let's say you've got a family unit, mom, dad, or something's broken in there. It's broken down. And the family unit is now weak. What are the potential harms of that, not only to the family, but also to children and society? Okay? And the third question, which all of you will be considering, is this. Would the following strengthen or weaken a family unit? First part, both parents working, mom is working, dad is working. And the second one, living with the extended family. Yeah? So when I say extended family, I'm talking about the mom, dad, and the children. They are living with the dad's parents, dada and daddy, okay, and the package that comes with that. Yeah? So that's the extended family. So if there's a family unit, the basic family unit of mom, dad and children, if they are living with the extended family, is that going to strengthen or weaken the family unit? Well, we'll come to that. Calm down, yeah? But what I want to do is we're going to have 10 groups, okay? And we'll have to try our best to get ourselves into 10 groups. Just bear with me. I will call out the names of some ulama who are sat here, and they will hopefully lead the group, and they will be the scribes, okay? But everybody has to contribute. We've also got benches, if somebody gets the benches. Now, Moulana Uwais is here. If you can stand up, please take a group. Moulana Abu Bakr is here. Moulana Ibrahim Rawat. Moulana Junaid. Yeah. Moulana Khalid, Moulana Muhammad, Moulana Muhsin, Moulana Ibrahim, and Mufti Javid. If you all stand up, this is the easiest way of doing this. Let's not make it difficult. If the ulama stand up and they take 10 individuals, and I will come around and give you the group work. Moulana Huzaifa, where are you? You have been nominated to lead a group. You take Moulana Khalid to lead. We've got 9 ulama here. One more is Moulana Safwan. Moulana Safwan also takes that. Any groups without a pen or a paper? We have got 10 minutes for this group work. So if you kind of give 3 minutes each for each question, shall I finish on time? No more than 10 minutes.
Being able to talk to each other. Talk to each other. Yeah, somewhere else. We get the best side competition is the competition. Jealousy.
Not no one cares, but like, there's no fear of receiving. I've only been top. I said the fear of
You have 5 more minutes. One more minute. You don't need to turn this way, you can still face your group. Okay, so benefits of a strong family unit. If you have a strong family unit, how is that going to benefit? Moulana Oasis Group, can we have a contribution from you? What it is, because we've got a large room here, and we've got to get feedback from all corners, we need everybody to be quiet, otherwise we'll be here for the next half an hour. Jazakallah. Go on.
Stability.
Stability. Okay, can you elaborate on that? You know, it's a buzzword, but what do you mean by that?
It wasn't my idea.
This sort of technical jargon is very easy. Well, you've got to explain it. Go on.
Google some.
Okay, I think we'll leave that group. This group here. Come on, give me a benefit of a strong family unit.
Love, respect, stability.
Okay, so it will be a means of love, respect, and stability for the
family unit.
For the family. Okay, let's start with the family. Okay, anything else? Come on, group here. Good support for each other. These are all really boring. Come on, come on.
It's a barakat having all family together.
That's later. That's later. You need to calm down. Advice. You can tell you're not that. Eh? Go on. What about another group here? Moulana Muhammad's group. Come on. Benefits of a strong family unit. How is that going to benefit the children? Come on. Security for children. That's boring. We've had that. Strong identity. Okay. What sort of identity? Jazakallah. Come on. Leadership. Sorry? Leadership. What sort of leadership? Grandparents. Okay, that's another one. Yeah? Masa, go on.
Parents can be good role models for their children.
Okay, parents can be good role models for their children. Okay, in terms of lineage. I think I can tell that a lot of you probably haven't done group work for several years now. Okay? Some of the things which I want you to think about, okay, from a children's perspective. So if there is a strong family unit in place, how does that affect the children? So one good thing we had was a strong identity. I would assume you're trying to say a strong Muslim identity. Yeah? Fair enough. Yeah? Another one is, if there is a stable and strong family unit, those children are more likely to perform better academically. Okay? Mufti Javid is here, and I'm sure he'll agree with me, I hope so. Yeah? There'll always be exceptions. Always be exceptions. But generally, you will find that those children that come from a stable background, a stable family, academically, they generally achieve much better than children that will come from unstable family backgrounds. So that's why strong family units are very, very important in terms of the children. How else does it benefit children if there is a strong family unit? There is mum there is dad there, and the mum and dad are good role models like we had here. Yeah, they are strong leaders. They are, come on.
They could talk to them, passing and nurturing the knowledge.
Yes. It's about nurturing your children. If you have a strong family unit where mum and dad are at the top of the organization, if you want to call it that, there is a greater chance of the correct spiritual nurturing occurring for the children. If there is a breakdown, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, okay? But there is a greater chance of something going wrong. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Let's look at it from the other side. What are the harms of a weak family unit? Think a bit broader. You guys are thinking just inside the box.
But is it for children only though?
What's that? Everybody. Come on.
No, I think the question is it for children or for the whole strong family unit?
A whole family unit. But even if you give me from a children's perspective, I'll be happy. How does it harm? If there is a weak family unit, let's talk of it from a children's perspective. How is it going to harm the child?
Lack of authority. Just children then, yeah?
Lack of authority.
But it's not just children, yeah?
Go on.
Your question is a bit wrong, that's why. Is it just children?
Are you going to contribute?
We misunderstood. Genuinely, we misunderstood.
Okay. So come on, what have you got? Sorry? No pizza, yeah, no pizza for you. Go on. What have you guys got? Harms of a weak family unit.
No mentor. Absolutely no mentor.
So what? So if there's no mentor, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
They are open to undesirable influence.
Okay? If there is no strong family unit, they are more likely to go off track. Yeah? Okay? We're getting somewhere now. Come on.
Family breakdown.
Now you are really excited. You're shouting at me now. Thingi's group. Sorry, I don't know your name.
Weak community.
Okay, that's a really good one. Listen, you're a family, you're a family, you're a family. We've got 10 families here. Yeah? If every family is strong, what does that create? A strong community, a strong society. If the family unit is weak, yeah, 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, it ultimately leads to a weakness in society and in the community. Okay? How else? How else does a weak family unit, yeah, where there is some sort of breakdown, problems, affect children? Come on, think from a children's perspective.
Education.
Fights in the family.
Yeah, but what's that going to do? How is that going to affect?
Affect children.
It affect the children. How? It might affect their religion, okay? That's an extreme case, but it can happen.
Mentally, it's going to affect the children.
It'll affect them mentally, okay? And you might actually get mental health issues arising from a weakness in family unit. Okay? Now, sometimes we don't think like this, okay? But honestly speaking, children's minds are very innocent. They're naive. They're weak. Okay? And things that happen around them, they have an influence on them. Okay? Weak family unit. Another harm. If there's a weak family structure at home, is the child going to want to stay at home? Yeah? Where's the child going to go? Outside. What are they going to do outside? Antisocial behavior, crime. Sorry? Cause problems. Okay, so I think we're getting somewhere. Anyway, that's enough of the first two questions. Come on, the pizzas are getting cold now. So we've looked we've looked at the benefits of a strong family unit, we've looked at the harms of a weak family unit, okay? If there's a weak family unit at home, what the harms can be. Now look at these two questions. They seem to be people's favorites. Will the following strengthen or weaken a family unit? Let's deal with the first one. Both parents working. So dad's going to work 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Mom's going to work 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Yeah? Is that going to strengthen or weaken a family unit? Don't shout at me.
It depends. I think there's both sides.
Okay. Let's start with Yaku Mama first. What do you say? Let's get the old school thingy first.
The weaken.
Sorry?
The weaken.
Weaken. Okay? He's saying weaken. Is there anybody for strengthen?
There's a lot more holidays here.
Anybody for strengthen? Okay, there's some people for strengthen. Ismail, yeah?
No. We've got both sides.
Okay, so what are you saying about this? Both parents working?
Both parents working. They say more eating out, restaurants, more going on holidays.
Okay. Right. Can I? Right. Listen, very quickly, I'm wrapping up. Very quickly, wrapping up. Both parents working, per se, there is nothing wrong with that. Okay? A man's got to provide for the family. For the lady, yeah, if she goes out to work, bearing in mind Sharia rules, etc., there is nothing wrong with the lady going out to work. Both parents working, nothing wrong. However, this is the key. However, the most important responsibility of mom and dad and parents is that of the children. Okay? If by both parents working, that responsibility is not being fulfilled, where there is some sort of shortcoming in discharging that responsibility towards your children, then the mom and dad, they need to think, is this the right thing for us to do? Because if the children are being neglected, then both parents are culpable. So that's a very important thing to understand. That's why I feel there is always a balance to be had. And one balance, possible balance, is dad has to work, dad has to provide. Islamically, he's responsible. But mom, if she wants to go to work, and nowadays, believe me, I think it's better women go to work than they don't go to work, especially with all the cases of midlife crisis and things like that. Yeah? So if they do go to work, they go to work, but for a few hours. Yeah? That, you know, for the mind, there's a bit of a break from the norm, okay? And they don't suffer the midlife crisis. But at the same time, most crucially, what's not being neglected? The children are not being neglected. Last thing, I'm going to leave this extended family out because we don't have time for it. But just one last thing I want to mention. A lot of the times, both parents working, the reason for it is because they need to feed the high life. Okay? So dad's going to work all hours, mom's going to work all hours, they might even have multiple jobs. And the reason is because they have high life. What do I mean by high life? Example, yeah? £600-700 mortgage on a house. Example, okay? Then, they've got, mashallah, Mercedes outside, which is on lease, 200-300 quid a month. Yeah? Big fan of football, Sky Sports package, how much does it cost a month? 50-60 quid. Every week, without fail, they've got to go to the restaurant, 50-60 quid. So if you've got a high life, yeah, you've got to manage that high life. And how are you going to manage it? Everybody working. And if everybody works, then ultimately what will happen is somewhere the responsibility of the children that will be put aside. So it's something, I think the key word here is balance. Okay? So we started off, I'm wrapping up now. We started off with the benefits, importance, purpose of Nika. We looked at few, and the main one we focused on was what? Come on. Family unit. Okay? And hopefully, through this discussion, it will be a bit more clearer as to our roles and responsibilities in creating a strong family unit.
really did. I said to my colleagues before that 8:30 we will have the pizzas upstairs. So what if I start at 8:25, 8:30 I'll finish. I'm starting after my finishing time. So now I don't have an end to it. It's this vicious cycle, you know, because I can't be any later than what I'm already if I start after my time. So I've been told by the ulama here that the pizzas have been ordered. The delivery driver, as always, loses the way to the destination. So therefore it's arriving at 9 o'clock. So you'll have to sit here anyway, waiting for the food to come. You might as well listen to me. The point I really wanted to really pick up was from what Muhsin and what Habibullah mentioned. But due to lack of time, I'm going to skip certain things. Because I'm going to touch on something more sensitive than what you have already heard. What we're looking at is we're now in a culture, and so far what we've looked at is you come across a girl, you want to get married, yeah? And at one time, roll the clock back 3-4 decades ago, and it would be, you're from this family, this village, this is the girl that you will get married to. And that's what used to happen. And then people became a bit more courageous, and they said, okay, I'm going to step slightly out of the family, but I'm not going to cross the river. Yeah? I'm going to stay in my district. Yeah? People that understand the geography in India will understand. So, within the district, people will get married. So as long as the girl is from my district, it's fine. If she's from the other district, she won't. Yeah? And that happened for about another 5 years. Then what happens? Yeah? Time changes and people say that Battle of the Roses have been won. Right? As long as the person speaks the same language, yeah? We're fine with it. With slight variation, right? We have 7 qira'at in Javid, so we have many qira'at in our languages. Yeah? So as long as they speak the similar kind of language, we're happy to go with it. We're currently going through a phase that as long as the person is Muslim, then we're happy with it. Yeah? And alhamdulillah, you know, the horizons are broadening, and that's what we're looking at. We're looking at compatibility, and let's not move away from that the partner needs to be compatible. But what we are looking at now is as long as the person is Muslim, and Habibullah mentioned, we're going to look at deen inside that person, we're looking at the character of that person. As long as those basic things are met, then we're happy to proceed with it. Alhamdulillah. The challenges, sadly, what people are facing nowadays, it's not now. Yeah? The challenges we're facing now, for something that we will be faced with decades in front. Yeah? Is two types of challenges. Bringing a girl who is not a Muslim, we're facing that little bit now. Yeah? And the bigger challenge that we'll face, at least talk related da'wat. I'm going to be very frank with you. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this, and I'll back this up later on. Okay? I'm just going to pause here, and you understand why I said I'm going to talk to you on quite sensitive issues. Allah created mankind. Remember, all of us sat here. There came a time that none of us existed. We did not exist. Yeah? And Allah, through His mind, through His will, gave us existence. And we came into being. We came into this world. And there will also come a time that we will have to leave this world according to His will. So our beginning is not by choice, and our end of leaving this world, because there's no end to us, we have life of eternity after us, is without our choice. So beginning, no choice. Leaving this world, no choice. In between, we will face conditions favorable or apparently adverse. Yeah? Those conditions, is it our choice? Do we have moments of happiness by choice? Or moments of sadness by choice? Smiles by choice, tears by choice. You don't. These are the circumstances that Allah creates around us. They're not by choice. So, why trying to conclude on this, that we're in total control of Allah. We are being created by Allah, and Allah knows exactly how we are, what we are, and how we need to live. Exactly like a manufacturer knows the product, the benefits and harms, and the operations of that product. So Allah says, I've created mankind, خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَىٰ, male and female. Yeah? As parents, we made parents as male and female. The verse that you hear in Nika khutbah, Allah says in that verse, وَبَثَّ مِنْهُمَا رِجَالًا كَثِيرًا وَنِسَاءً. Yeah? That through you, we will make male and female. And in Surah Maryam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Maryam alayhi salatu wa salam. Yeah? And when Maryam alayhi salatu wa salam was born, the mother said, Inni wada'tuha untha. I've given birth to a girl. She was expecting a boy. Yeah? And she said, I've given birth to a girl. And then further she says that وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنثَى, that the boy and girl are two different individuals. They have two different roles. Yeah? And a girl cannot be like a boy. She wanted a boy for a very specific role to be carried out. You got the 3 verses? Understood? Okay. So, are male and female equal? Are male and female equal? Yes? No? No? Anybody for yes? God, we've got the Equalities Act here. Can't somebody tell me? We've got no here. Anybody for yes?
What do you mean by equal? It depends.
God, tell me, why would they be equal?
So for example, in Islam, inheritance, the man gets supposedly more wealth. He does get more than the female. So does that mean it's unequal?
So that's not equal, is it?
No, it's not equal in terms of, in terms of actual value. But if you understand...
As a recipient they're equal, but not by share.
In what manner are you asking for?
Okay? So they're not equal. I don't know. I'm just trying to get my head around understanding whether they are equal or not. But they should be equal. All the discrimination laws will tell you they should be equal.
No, in our deen, no, because it says, الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله وبما أنفقوا. So you can translate that because you cannot translate that.
Okay, so the responsibility of male has a more dominant responsibility than a female. Yeah? And that's the verse that Brother Adnan is alluding to. Well, are they equal? In Islam, are male and female equal?
Yes.
Yes? Why are they equal?
Because they get the same reward for their deeds.
Okay. But the Prophet ﷺ, just sorry to interject, he says that hunna naqisat al-aqli wad-din. Yeah? That there is an element of defect in their deen and in their intelligence.
So then he also said that
And this is how we get into a tangle. I just wanted to get into a tangle. I don't have an answer for it. But I just wanted to just get you into a tangle. Because what we, biologically are they the same? Emotionally are they the same? So if apparently they are not the same, they can't be the same. Yeah? Otherwise, Allah, can you just imagine? If Allah wanted everybody to be equal, He would have had a production line of all robots coming out exactly the same. Same color, same feature, same everything. But Allah created male and female. Yeah? And Allah says, I created people in two different sects because they have a different role. Biologically they're different, emotionally they're different. Do we actually believe that they are equal? How many times have you been to a sports event? Yeah? We just had Tyson Fury's fight. Put it for a woman in that same ring. Who would say it's equal? Equality is like put them together in the same ring. We don't get them to compete in the same sport because physically we say that they have different strengths, abilities. Do we not? So, is equal fair? Or is equal and fair the same thing? Sharia doesn't put male and female as equal. Sharia is fair with male and female. And when you tangle fairness with equality, you end up in a mess. You understand that? Okay. So, but they are created with different strengths and weaknesses. Yeah? But they complement each other. And as long as we understand that they both have been created differently for a reason, it's not by accident, it's by plan. Allah, through His wisdom, understands human beings because Allah created them. So He understands the wisdom and they both have a role to play which complements each other. Therefore, if physically you're different, biologically and emotionally you're different, you should behave differently. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, through many ahadith, gave us some kind of guidance. He said 1400 years ago that males should not dress up like females and females should not dress up like males. Yeah? You may have certain aspect of unisex clothing. Okay? So let's not go into a debate like that. So if there was a long cardigan worn by male and a long cardigan worn by female, fine. If they look similar, that's fine. But in any culture, remember Islam understands the culture of the community. There are defined clothing for male and female, then a male should not wear female clothing and a female should not wear male clothing. You understand that? And another hadith on the same tone. When Sharia is so mindful of giving guidance on clothing, you could just imagine that changing the gender of an individual, would that be then acceptable in Sharia or not? As I said, our challenge as a society, as a Muslim Ummah, is the wave of LGBTQ. Yeah, all of you must have heard about it. There was a lot of WhatsApp going around, petition, and everything else. Yeah? So that's about lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and Q is a question or query. Yeah? So depending on what it is, if a person is confused and don't know about their identity, might fall into Q. Yeah? And you might have also heard about SRE, yeah, or RSC, whichever way you want to say it. At the moment, how many of you know that SRE gets taught in many of the primary schools? Anybody aware? So we've got some hands up. Does anybody know what's being taught? Have any idea of what might be taught? Go on, you put your hand up. You're aware that something gets taught.
How deep do I go?
No, just briefly.
Just everyone's sexual orientation, their identity from a very young age.
So it gets taught about sexual orientation, yeah, about understanding your gender, yeah, or choosing to be what you want to be, just because you want to be, yeah. That gets taught. You'll be surprised. This gets taught in schools from the age of 5. Did you know that? Have you picked up any of the books that schools might use to teach that? And something very simple and innocently that will be put in front of the child. A child of 5 who goes to the library of the school and picks up a book to read, yeah, and says that Abdullah and Muhammad, yeah, have 2 dads, yeah, and they're just reading a book that they went on to a holiday with their 2 dads, or Abdullah went to, you know, the local leisure center with his 2 moms. Yeah? And the child is very innocently reading this. What happens? What happens? It's indoctrination, isn't it? Something, remember what I said? It's not the challenge now, but will be in a decade. Over a period of time, when you start learning something like this, it becomes a norm within the society. It becomes, you know, what I said here once during the question and answer session, and I said, you know, in the 80s, if people were doing janda for the masjid, yeah, and found out that this person was working in a bank, they would not collect his janda because they would say that his income is haram. Yeah? Do we see that now? Does anybody question you or ask you? Working in a bank at that time, people would ask many questions. Interest-bearing transactions and things like that. People were very mindful of that. Those kind of discussions have gone onto the back burner now. Yeah? Because it's become a norm within the society. Look at another shift in, you know, maybe 2 decades ago, people wouldn't go out to eat. Yeah? Now it's a must to eat. Yeah? It just becomes a norm. And same way, when, you know, you talk about LGBT, you know that it used to be a crime in this country? Until 1967, if you were a gay, you would have been in prison for life. Yeah, it was a crime. Now you speak up against it, it's a crime. Society changed, goalposts moved. But one thing that we've got to be mindful of, that we have, alhamdulillah, religious freedom. And we are able to we are able to stick to our beliefs and principles. But the challenge for our society as a whole, as parents, as madrasa, and as a community, is how do you educate your children and your generations to come on this matter. Otherwise, what will happen over time, that you then stop believing that it's okay. You know, I'm not involved with it, but it's okay to be like this. Do you know that there's an organization called Muslim Gay, or Gay Muslim Organization? Yeah? And I'll come to that in a second. But there's a lot of, as I said, taught now. As we move on from 2020, that will become statutory for every school. At the moment, if you wanted your child to opt out from that subject for that lesson, as parents, you have a right to pull them out. That right will be taken from us. You will not be able to opt them out. Yeah? If it then becomes statutory in 2020, there's time for those discussions to be had and be lobbied and everything else. Yeah? And as I said, it's all about gender neutrality. Sometimes the intentions are good. The reason for some of these things happening is that people are not discriminated against because of how they behave or how they live. Yeah? And because male sometimes get better paid than the female in the same job and everything else that's behind it, those are the discussions that takes place. So there may be an element of genuineness in those discussions. But what they want to do is a person will be able to say or call himself whatever he wants. So I'm a male. Right? And tomorrow morning I wake up and I say, no, I'm a female. Yeah? And the other person should not be able to question my gender. The way I have a choice to make for religion, I have a choice to make for my gender. Can you see the discussions that are happening? Yeah? Okay. But somebody said, and I was reading somewhere, that, you know, it's like me calling myself vegetarian, but I like my steaks. Yeah? And you say, well, can you make your mind up? You come to my house, I'll give you dal roti. Yeah? And you save you the cost of putting meat under the zakat. But you're calling yourself a vegetarian, right? And yet you still enjoy your peri-peri chicken. What would you say to me? I'm a little confused. Yeah? So, now coming to this point. I want you to really, really think about these questions. Can I be a Muslim and a gay? No? Is there anybody that says that I can be? Yeah, I've got a hand there. Anybody else? I know we've got the... Go on. I've got ulamas on this side that says can be. Go on, tell me why.
Because as long as you still believe in the kalima la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah and you don't, and you still accept the fact that Islam says it's wrong, you still accept that fact and you're still within the realm of Islam.
Okay, excellent. Anybody else got a different view to that? Okay. You know, Habibullah mentioned a hadith about committing adultery. Yeah? And what did he say? That when a person is committing adultery in a yazni, for what? Mu'min, yazni zani. Yeah? That when a person is committing adultery, does he remain a believer at that time? Right? He says, Habibullah was being very cautious and saying that our position is obviously he still remains a believer but very weak. But many great Sahabas were of the view that that person goes out of the fold of Islam. Ibn Abbas and many great Sahabis were of the view that a person while committing adultery, he is no longer a believer. Yeah? And that was their verdict. So, that's what it is. If a person is committing a sin, then as long as he believes that Islamically it is not acceptable, then he's committing a sin. He is a sinner or he is sinful, but because of sin, he doesn't go out of the fold of Islam. So he does remain a Muslim. The problem becomes when one starts believing that Islamically there's nothing wrong with it. furthermore trying to justify it, the question then becomes, does that person still remains in the fold of Islam? Yeah? What? What's okay? Right? What if your work colleague told you this? I'm okay.
Would I lose my sleep?
Yeah? Would you treat him differently? Okay. Would you be friends with him? Friendly. You'll be friendly, courteous with that individual. Yeah? And it can happen. And you've got to be mindful. You know, sadly, we don't really grasp this reality. That person sat next to you might have that orientation. Your child's teacher might have that orientation. Yeah? What will you do? You know about this issue in press, about this teacher in Birmingham. Yeah? So, what would you do? Is it alright? Is it correct to go and object? And if you do, will you be in breach of the law? And as I said, I'm really going to pause here just for you to think about it. I'm not going to give you any answers. You've got, alhamdulillah, many scholars over here that you can refer the matters to and get some guidance from them. But it's for you to pause and think about it. Yeah? What if? Is it possible for a Muslim guy to say, I have feelings for this person who is of the same gender? Am I a bad Muslim? Would you say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, astaghfirullah, how can you be a Muslim? Bring this to your tongue. The guy was just being honest. What would you say to him? Is it Muhammad? Habib Muhammad? Go on.
Go get some advice, go talk to some
Okay.
solution.
Is there an illness? Then you've got a problem then. Because that's exactly what they say. That people think this is an illness. And the whole LGBTQ organization and all these kind of things, they think, oh, it's quite normal to be. And it's not an illness. And those people that think that this is an illness got a problem understanding. Okay. You know, I'm not talking about any of you guys here, but a guy can be walking down the street and see two beautiful girls, and he's inclined towards both of them. Is that possible? Sees one, likes her, sees another one, likes her. Yeah? Yeah, some people are saying that there could be a long list. Is that what you're saying, Karen? No. Okay. Is it possible or not? Yes, it's possible. So that inclination could be there for, is that right or wrong? It's wrong? Yeah? Islamically it's wrong. Islamically, meaning that the inclination itself is not wrong. Yeah? Firstly, you should be looking at them. Right, so let's keep it straight there. So you shouldn't be looking at them. Stop blushing. But Adam's helping. So inclination could be there. Islamically, to act on that inclination, would that be correct? It would not be correct. What would you do? You will look down and suppress your desires. Yeah? That's the Islamic guidance. Similarly, if, and when, you know, for that inclination towards those women, that's the influence of shaitan. Yeah? You agree with that? Similarly, it's possible that an inclination towards a boy might cross somebody's mind because it's an influence of shaitan. It's very possible for it to happen. Yeah? cannot justify one person to be a gay. Yeah? A person cannot just say that because I've got inclination, that's why it's fine for me to do. Like, it is not fine for you to go and kiss all the girls that you see that you are inclined towards. Islamically, it's not permissible. Similarly, this is not permissible. Do you understand that? So the inclination can happen. But Islamically, as I said, we are the creation of Allah. Allah created us. We belong to Him, and we will be held accountable by Him. And we will have to give account to everything that what we do. So, although there will be many things that will be halal and haram and will be inclined towards many of the haram stuff, whether that's eating or relationship, we are bound by the rulings by Sharia. Yeah? And I'm just going to end on this. Yeah? Because what Habibullah mentioned, and Moulana Muhsin, is about love. That these thoughts will come. These thoughts will then lead you to some kind of action. If those actions are halal, then great. If those actions are haram, then we need to worry about it. And Allama ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawzi, he's a great scholar of 7th century. Yeah? And he says, always start off with your gaze. Because whatever you see, you will start thinking. And then those thoughts, as long as they come and they go, Allah will not hold you to account. But then if those thoughts materializes to ideas, it's still in your head, but now you start planning. This is the beginning of sin. Yeah? And like Moulana Muhsin mentioned, La taqrabu zina. You don't even go to those avenues that will lead you to sin. Yeah? That ideas generate to desires, desires into will, and then you go into action. Yeah? And therefore, the easiest thing to do is be patient at the first step. As soon as you've seen something, be patient that time, control yourself then. Because patience at a latter stage would become much more difficult. So what we need to do as a society, firstly, is talk to elders in the family, talk to the ulama, scholars within our community, seek advice when you need to. Yeah? Don't bottle things up. Secondly, educate yourself with the challenges that we're facing and the guidance Islam gives us. Don't think about just today. Think about the challenges for the generations to come. And what do we need to put into place today? Yeah? And then turn to Allah and seek His assistance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you and I the true understanding of deen and give us the correct guidance.
Maybe just stay behind a few minutes. If there's any questions, then...
If there's any burning questions, then we'll try and take them. Okay, so the question session is there because they need 5 more minutes for the pizzas to arrive. Yeah? So it's not just because, yes, I'm happy to take questions.
I'm just wondering, the SRE, will it be embedded into the national curriculum by 2020?
Yeah.
So
it's
it'll be
already, as I said, SRE is already part of the guidance given to schools. And as you know, for many years, sexual education has been part of the curriculum and has been taught. But it has always been left to schools and head teachers to deliver that in consultation with parents and governing bodies to provide that.
I'm sorry, there's 2 parts. So how will that affect the Islamic schools?
Okay. the Islamic schools will also have to deliver the curriculum. Okay? It's how they deliver that will matter. As from an Islamic point of view, as I said, that I think these kind of discussions need to take place in madrasa and in masjid. Alhamdulillah, we're having this discussion here in masjid. We should be having this discussion, understanding the changing society and the challenges that our children will face. Right? But it's what level do you expose people to? What Islam is against is immorality. Yeah? With shalom, through adults, as long as we're having a mature discussion, that's fine. And then the discussion needs to be had. Does a 5-year-old need to be exposed to any of these discussions? Yeah? So we're looking at the rights of LGBT community. Are we neglecting the rights of these children and their innocence? And these are the things that we need to discuss. Yeah? Sometimes, I'm just mindful of what I do throughout and I reserve. It's okay. We're saying you can have a family unit of 2 dads. Yeah? Then they have children. Obviously, there's complications of how they're going to have it, but they're going to have children. Yeah? Where are the rights of those children gone? We're mindful of the rights of the parents. What about the rights of those children? So are we neglecting the rights of somebody else to fulfill my right? You understand? Can you just imagine when you become gender neutral, you have women-only session. And if I call myself a woman, I should have access to those classes. There's no such thing as women-only session. There's already complications in hospital wards where you have women wards. Now, there's no way of carrying identification. We're not talking about transgenders. This is somebody who's gender neutral. Yeah? And he's saying that although I'm in a male body, I'm a female, or I'm a female but in a male body, so I should, because of my thoughts, I should be placed there and not here. What kind of complications does that create? And as I said, I'm just going to throw out some questions and challenges rather than give you answers. And, as I said, that this was illegal in 1967 in this country, and much later in Scotland and Wales, and even now in many countries is still illegal. Yeah? What we say, our bottom line is that Islamically, we hate the sin, not the sinner. We have pity on the sinners, yeah? And we will always be, respectful, tolerant, and everything else for that individual. But, like the way you have a right of your own, we have a religious right, and we have a submission to that religion. And that's our right, that's our religious freedom. And there's got to be this mutual respect. Okay, I think I'm sure the